All right, let's talk about the best thing to come from each Black Ops Zombies game. Spanning over 17 years of content with games that are loved and hated by different sides of the community, I wanted to make this video to celebrate the unique and best qualities of each one. And of course, we start with World at War. And the best part of this game is undoubtedly the atmosphere and the tone. I mean, World at War as a game in general, when you include the campaign, the multiplayer, pretty much every aspect of the game was dark and gritty. There's no other way to phrase it. It was a brutal showcase of World War II and did things that no COD has done since or ever will do again. Even the main menu, it just sounds horrifying in the best way possible. The tone that decorated this entire game top to bottom is still, in my opinion, unmatched by any COD that followed it. And as a result, it carried that same vibe into a zombies mode. And of course, naturally, zombies is inherently a creepy ass topic in and of itself. So you take creepy game and add creepy ass game mode, and you have this Nacht und Toten, a map that made every child at the time themselves. The zombie noises, the fog, the ambient sound design, every little element that they put into this that they really didn't even have to do, but they did anyway, made this such an incredible experience to play if you were there at the beginning. Especially if you played it solo, this map made you feel isolated in a way, again, that no other Call of Duty has ever done since. The combination of video and audio design is just genuinely chilling, and it echoed through every single map that came out. Of course, we started at Nacht und Toten, but we moved swiftly over to Verrückt, and again, the fog, the dark, moody kind of visual elements that they incorporated into this map, which was actually a conversion of a multiplayer map called Asylum. The way they overhauled it was genuinely terrifying, and it was backed up heavily, again, by the sound design. When you walk through certain areas of the map, you hear banging, you hear screaming from mental patients, you hear all kinds of horrific things, and the vibe here was so immaculate in this World at War version that, in my opinion, with the Black Ops 3 Chronicles release, for example, it completely failed to capture what this map did in World at War. Survival was a lot harder back then as well. You had 2 hit downs. The Verrückt sprinters in this map were so fast, you basically didn't stand a chance on solo. And just generally, the attention to detail that Treyarch clearly put in making you feel genuinely uneasy whilst playing the game really puts World at War in a league of its own entirely. Shinonuma and Darius came out, and of course they innovated heavily in terms of actual gameplay features. I mean, Verrückt introduced the perks and Darius introduced the Pack-a-Punch and teleportation. We already know that. It seems foolish to give World at War like a innovation title as the best thing about it, because it's just not true. It's without doubt the vibe and the atmosphere, and a foundational pillar of that is without doubt the sound design. We spoke about the screams in Verrückt, the chilling zombie noises in Nacht und Toten, as well as, like, you know, the kind of background mist noise that they had kind of just settling in the background. You had Shinonuma where there was just random whispers just in your ear, coupled with nothing but like just dim environmental noises. And then you had Darius with the air raid siren, the iconic clock, the radios that had this kind of screech to them. And of course, it's all blended perfectly with the environmental design, the visual design. I can't explain it. You have to play it. If you genuinely haven't played World at War before and you're one of, like, you know, the new Zombies fans, just try it. It will be bare bones to you. You might not enjoy the lack of things to do in terms of camo grinding. It's not there. There just wasn't any sort of progression back then. But I'm telling you, if you can appreciate a game objectively for what it is and how it makes you feel, World at War is still unmatched. And that's why the best feature of World at War, again, is the atmosphere, the vibe. I mean, as a kid in my generation, you were genuinely scared to play these maps solo. Like, you actually didn't want to do it. You wanted to band together with your friends, and it made co-op feel even more essential. It wasn't just a matter of survival, it's a matter of just feeling comfortable, having your friends there for moral support, quite literally. I was very young when World at War was out, and of course, yeah, I shouldn't have been playing it, but I was, you know. But buddying up with my friends from school playing this, yeah, you could call that part nostalgia, but again, the vibe of this game, nothing comes close. But moving on to Black Ops 1, another one of my favorites, naturally. And the best thing about this game, in my opinion, is too broad to even summarize, really. So I'm just going to go with the polish. The polish of this game throughout is 10 out of 10. I mean, coming back from World at War, which did have an abundance of very weird glitches that kind of did ruin gameplay a little bit. Like, you would knife in World at War, get stuck, and that's it. Like, that's basically it. A lot of those weird kinks were ironed out with Black Ops, and it was then followed through with a genuinely impeccable game. Like, it's such a beautiful game. First off, talking about the maps that were featured in Black Ops 1 were exceptionally finished. Every single one of them. This was back in the day where Treyarch seemingly could actually make what they wanted to without a huge amount of time pressure or restriction. Of course, there would have been time pressure and restrictions to a certain level, but my point is, these maps came out finished. They were completely finished, and you could see that they were well thought out and well planned from top to bottom. Kino de Toten, of course, was a follow-up to Derice, so it didn't really differ much from Derice. It kind of just followed on and continued its legacy, so to speak. We had 5 that came out, which brought a whole new feel to zombies. Of course, it's a modern setting for the first time, semi-modern setting anyway. You had the Pentagon Thief. I mean, I'm not going to make a map retrospective right now, but the point is, 5 felt unique. It felt different. It was fun that it was a reward at the end of the campaign, kind of like how zombies originally started back in World at War. Then you had the DLC season, because the DLC season, man. Everything was exceptional. Ascension, Call of the Dead, Shangri-La, Moon, all of them brilliant. Every single one, fantastic, beautifully designed, and genuinely like insane when you properly deep it. We went to Siberia. We went, well, to Shangri-La. We went to a Russian cosmodrome, and then we went to Area 51 and the fucking moon. The level of freedom, of creativity, whilst also retaining the vibe of Black Ops 1. It was just an immaculate experience top to bottom. And again, it's coupled with a game that's insanely polished. I'm talking about the way the zombies moved, the way they attacked, everything felt correct. It wasn't like World at War where you get hit and then they kind of have, I don't know, Gorilla Glue on their hands, and the second you get touched, you're basically getting fucked until you're bleeding out on the floor. This felt like the first time where you could know whether something was a good idea or a bad idea. It wasn't a gamble whether or not it would work if you, say, ran through that tiny gap in the train, or knifed that zombie on round 4 when there's other zombies around you. Is it too risky? But you know exactly what's happening in Black Ops 1 because it's polished so well that the experience remains consistent. But also, the polish extends to the feel of the weapons, because the weapons in Black Ops 1, my God, they all felt incredible. And I can go into why this is, because I know some people will probably think, oh, well, you know, Black Ops 6 weapons. No. Black Ops 1 did it better than any other Black Ops game. And the reason for that is simple. It's smooth animations, but also, again, incredible sound design. Because with these weapons, say, for example, you'd reload and you'd actually hear your arms like kind of clashing and clinking with the frag grenades and the other mags on your chest. I sound like I'm waffling, but if you play it and listen carefully, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. For that to even be a feature, it means that Treyarch, in my opinion, from what I could see as the player, clearly had enough time to make this game as polished and as done up as it possibly could have. I could not imagine Black Ops 1 being any better than it already is. There's no glaring cut corners. There's no obvious absence of gameplay features or design. It's all there at its highest possible quality. That's my take on Black Ops 1, and that's why I think polish is undoubtedly the most unique and the best thing about this game. Controversial statement, I'm going to go ahead and say that every other Black Ops game that followed wasn't as polished as this one. And I know that's going to offend Black Ops 3 fans, but that's the way it is. Moving on to Black Ops 2 though, the best thing about this game, without doubt, is the bold level design. It's a risk taker. Now, what I mean by that is the maps featured in Black Ops 2 they kind of felt like experiments. It felt like Treyarch were really hitting the ground running with outlandish and groundbreaking ideas that completely shake up the formula of zombies altogether, and kind of just threw it all at the wall with each map that came out and just saw what stuck. There is no question that without the maps that are featured in Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3 would never have shined the way that it did. And I respect that even as someone who's not the greatest fan of Black Ops 2, which I know offends a lot of people. I do think the maps in this game, they don't quite hit right, and I feel like the game in general doesn't have the same level of polish as Black Ops 1, like I mentioned before. However, this game shaped the future of zombies in a massive, massive way. You take maps like Transit, where you had literal transportation between different areas that had never been done before. You had Die Rise, where there was broken buildings, trample steams. You had to jump and hop across this incredibly vertical map design with all kinds of hazards that had never been done before. Then you had Buried. I mean, you know, you get the idea here. I can go on and on. You had Mob of the Dead, you had Origins, and all of these maps drastically shook up the way the gameplay felt, the way it played, and pretty much all of the gameplay elements in general were radically different from map to map. And that's what I think makes Black Ops 2 so special. Because of how experimental it was, you can find the worst maps ever made for zombies and some of the best maps ever made for zombies in the same game. That's what makes it so special, because over time it became clear that maps like Mob of the Dead and Origins would be the bedrock, the foundation for maps like Shadows of Evil, the Eisendrache, pretty much everything in Black Ops 3. No two maps in this game played the same, and I absolutely love it for that. This game was incredibly unique. It took risks, it walked so BO3 could run, and the fact that this game took such massive risks with every single map that came out is what makes this game brilliant, and is what basically makes it one of the most important Black Ops Zombies games to ever release. We're moving on now to Black Ops 3, which is of course the favorite for a large percent of the community. The best thing about this game, in my opinion, it could have been so many things, but I'm gonna have to go with the timeless map selection. I could ramble on for hours about how Black Ops 3 elevated the game in so many ways, because it did. The cutscenes were executed in a way we've never seen in Zombies before. It felt like Zombies was getting a proper spotlight, a proper amount of effort put into it. Not to say that effort wasn't put into it in the past, but it just felt like a lot more of Treyarch were working on Zombies for Black Ops 3. It felt like there was a lot of campaign elements with the attention to detail in cinematics. The maps were far more vast and filled to the brim with things to do and objectives to hunt and Easter eggs that were just so long and so convoluted in the best possible way. It just felt like, yeah, Zombies in general had elevated to a new height, and I wanted to make, I don't know, elevation as the best thing about this game, but I'm gonna have to give it to the map selection. The map selection in Black Ops 3 is unmatched by any Call of Duty game to follow ever since. It's just a fact. Not only do we have the incredible Black Ops 3 experiences, Shadows of Evil, the Eisendrache, Zetsubo no Shima, God Crovey, and Revelations, which, you know, Revelations is kind of ass, but you know, they then dropped Zombie Chronicles, and of course everyone knows about Zombie Chronicles. We had Nachtron Toten, Verrucht, Shinonuma. We already had the Giant in Black Ops 3, I forgot to mention. And then we had Kino, Ascension, Shangri-La, Moon, Origins. These maps all came back in a glorious fashion and graphically looking better than ever. I still say to this day that Moon remaster is one of the best remasters we've ever seen for Zombies ever. I mean, they did such a good job with the biodome. It was amazing. Genuinely amazing. Do I wish we got to use Black Ops 1 weapons instead of Black Ops 3 ones? Absolutely. Do I wish they tried to capture the atmosphere and vibe of the World at War maps properly? Yes, because the Chronicles versions did not carry that vibe at all. But again, it's a different game, right? It had gobblegums, it had fundamental gameplay changes that would have not really sat well with the vibe of World at War anyway. The point is, the map selection in Black Ops 3 is still unparalleled to this day, and it leads me very nicely into a second bonus point that's one of the best things about Black Ops 3, and that is mod tools. I have to say it. I mean, my channel is mostly oriented around custom zombies, so I can't make this video without mentioning the mod tools for Black Ops 3. Now, of course, World at War also got mod tools, and I'm so grateful for that. In fact, watching YouTubers like Yoti Slayer back in the day were actually one of my biggest inspirations to make this channel in the future. But the Black Ops 3 mod tools has allowed creators to bring an even richer catalog of maps to this game on PC. I mean, when I think Black Ops 3 now, I don't just think about the Black Ops 3 maps and the Zombie Chronicle maps. I also then go on to think about maps like Atonement, maps like Leviathan, remasters like Die Rise, Daybreak, Call of the Dead, Mob of the Dead. I mean, there's so many more maps I could mention. I mean, I've made tons of lists talking about this. You guys know the drill by now. But the point is, mod tools for Black Ops 3 extended the lifespan of this game tenfold, and even allowed creators to make mods that would bring the Chronicles versions of these maps to be more aligned with what we were hoping for if you wanted to play it with Black Ops 1 weapons, for example, stuff like that. So it's timeless map selection coupled with the endless possibilities that came from introducing mod tools to the game are, in my opinion, the best things about Black Ops 3, and have undoubtedly made it earn its place as one of the biggest fan favorite games in the entire series. Moving on to Black Ops 4 now, and personally, my favorite thing about this game is actually the fact that it had the strongest launch offering ever. Hear me out. I'm not saying it had the strongest launch, because there was blue screens everywhere. I'm very aware of that. I remember. Trust me, I've still got PTSD from trying to complete the Blood of the Dead Easter egg 5 fucking times with my brother at launch, only to see it blue screen time and time again. Its launch was shit. It sent Milo to the mountains. We know the story, okay? Bro tapped out. Even he was done. BO4 broke this man. I'm glad he's back though. I love you, Milo. Anyway, I will say though that it had the strongest launch offering. It did 4 fully loaded maps at launch, as was promised by Jason Blundell in the incredible reveal event they had. Now, in my opinion, the peak of the zombies community wasn't even during Black Ops 3. It was actually in between the release of Chronicles and the release of Black Ops 4 with this reveal event. The BO4 reveal event was just peak. It was peak. It was incredible. They talked about all of these features. Blundell came on. He was talking about all the stuff they're adding to zombies. They gave us a reveal of 9. They gave us a reveal of Voyage. And then everyone noticed as he was walking off the stage that he was carrying blood vials. Everyone went ballistic when they showed a teaser for Blood of the Dead. It erupted. Everything was perfect. Everything was lined up to be, honestly, some of the best future years of zombies content ever. You can tell by my voice that I was thrilled by every moment of this reveal event, and I was watching it with my boy Jake, and we were both on mic just freaking out about all of the stuff they were showing. It was cut to that gif, man. Cut to that gif. Just and then it launched, and it launched badly, but I'd still say that 4 fully loaded maps at launch is the strongest launch offering we've seen from Treyarch today. And the maps themselves, even though I'm not a big fan of the gameplay elements of Black Ops 4, and I think they did kind of ruin it a bit, the maps themselves were really strong. 9 was a very exciting map through and through. I mean, pre-patch with the Tigers, it was a little bit dicey, but still a brilliant map. I'm sure a lot of people can agree. Blood of the Dead, controversial take. I absolutely love that map. If it had the Golden Gate Bridge, I'd probably prefer it to Mob. Not gonna lie to you, but the lack of Golden Gate Bridge, it is criminal. I can't look past that. Classified was super fun. I mean, I love 5, so being able to go back to it was really enjoyable. Do I wish we got to see the Pentagon Thief? Of course, but having Area 51 as the Pack-a-Punch area, that was pretty nice. Overall, the launch maps, I mean, there was so much to play at launch. There was so much to do at launch, and so the wait between the launch and the first DLC map, it didn't feel bad at all. Besides, you know, the blue screens. You get my point. The strongest thing about Black Ops 4, in my opinion, was this launch offering. Unfortunately, I wasn't a big fan of the DLC maps that followed, so that's what I'm going with as the best thing about this game. But moving on now, we come to Cold War. And this is where the community, in my opinion, split in half. You had half of the people who absolutely loved this, and half of the people that thought Zombies is going in a very bad direction from here. Regardless of your take on it though, what I will say Cold War did best, and better than any other Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies game, is actually its AI design. And no, I'm not talking about AI as in AI generated content, none of that nonsense from Black Ops 6. I'm talking about the actual enemies that we face during Black Ops Cold War. I mean, first off, the zombie noises, the way they echoed in the underground sections of D Machine was just freaking sick. The new animations, the way they attack the player, all of it felt very fresh, very new, and very nice. They did the zombies and they overhauled them, and they done a very good job of it. I mean, they even came up with really nice ways to counter even the things like, you know, cheating, getting out of the map. The zombies would literally rip flesh from their bodies and throw it at the player, which I thought was freaking genius. Like, I love that. And I also love the bosses that were introduced in Black Ops Cold War as well. The Megaton was a very unique enemy type. Trying to plug him with rounds and then watching him split into 2 different parts, that was crazy. And in the earlier rounds, I mean, the Megaton was pretty tough. I mean, I'm actually happy they brought in a boss that was not the easiest thing to quickly get rid of. They also overhauled the Hellhounds. And then with the DLC seasons, they added really interesting bosses. Again, the AI design was incredible. We had the Disciples, which would empower zombies and just drain the life from you. I mean, I love that. The fact they could fly around and, you know, make themselves a harder target was also a nice touch. I mean, generally, the thought that went into these enemies was brilliant. You had Firebase Z that brought in the Order, which is a whole other thing. I mean, just look at this. We also had some returns of, you know, enemies like the Mangler, the Abomination, which kind of felt like an evolved Margwa, so to speak. But just overall, like, everything felt a little bit more revised, a little bit more refined. And the introduction of new unique enemies like the Order, again, the Mimic, the Megaton, stuff like that, it really brought it all together to make a very fresh roster of enemies that we face throughout the maps. And pretty much all of these enemies made their way into Outbreak, which, of course, love or hate the game mode, it was cool to see such a wide variety of different enemies to face. And so it's pretty easy for me to make this the point of discussion when it comes to talking about the best thing about Cold War. But now moving on to the final Black Ops Zombies entry, we have Black Ops 6. And to be honest here, I did struggle to really come up with something, but the one that I'm going with is the reward system. The reward system in this game, in my opinion, is the best thing about it. Now, of course, we'd seen challenges and camos and all that stuff from the past way back in Black Ops 3 and make its way into future games and so on. But in Black Ops 6, the amount of challenges, the amount of camos to unlock, the mastery camos, I mean, we saw a similar amount in Cold War as well, but somehow in Black Ops 6, it just felt a little bit better. It felt a little bit more thought out. And having like accolade badges to earn as well, it really brought it all together and made you want to get 100% completion on Black Ops 6, which is exactly what I did. There's a lot to grind, there's a lot to earn, and you actively want to do it. The only problem with this game is that once you've done it, there's not really much else to say about it. But again, subjective. There's a lot of people enjoying Black Ops 6 right now. I made a whole video talking about this. I'm not going to make a rant at the moment, but more power to you. If you're loving this game, I'm happy for you. But yes, the reward system is the best thing about it. And the camos, in my opinion, look genuinely beautiful. They look stunning. And I feel like you're actually properly rewarded with the amount of effort you put in. Not to mention, of course, the return of the classic prestige system means that you're actually progressing yourself across the board of Black Ops 6 just by playing zombies, which is a very nice touch. And whilst a lot of these things were already in Cold War and even in some games before, again, I just feel like Black Ops 6 is a very refined take on a rewarding experience for zombies players. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say about it. And so with that, we've reached the end of the timeline. And so we've reached the end of the video. Lads, ladies and gentlemen, if you did enjoy it, please be sure to leave a like and definitely comment if you agree with my takes, disagree, what your favorite things are about each zombies game. And I hope to catch you guys in my next video. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you soon. Cheers.